Okay. All right, so good morning. Today is July 18th of 2024, and this will be my daily outlook as well as yesterday's price action. So let's go over yesterday's price action real quick. So as expected, price did draw lower. As per my weekly bias was that we would draw lower into consequent encroachment of the let me just get rid of this real quick. There we go. Yeah, consequent encroachment of the weekly wick, which was also resting right below a weekly fair value gap. So we didn't get the reversal here that I wanted, but I had also wanted for price to come down into extreme discount. So we did get that. And I did look for an entry here in the afternoon session. And as you can see here, we did trade into this consequent encroachment of this order block. And it just so happens to be right here as well. This also happens to be the consequent encroachment. Obviously, price did draw lower than that, but as you can see, price closed above consequent encroachment, 50% of the order blocks. So my train of thought for the next few weeks is that if this low holds, then this will become an order block going into the next few weeks into election season. But that's a few weeks, months from now, so not going to worry about that. But that's my outlook if this holds. So within the next few days, I believe we might be trading within this range. If we're still bullish, because we did close below this area right here, a very commanding close. So I'll be watching for price to hold here. So that's why I have these areas jotted down on the 4-hour. Same thing up here. Here, obviously, we don't see anything on the right. So here we didn't get this close as of yet. So I do expect this one to fail, but I do expect an opportunity here within the next few days to see if price, does what I think it'll do. Here, there's no change, nothing. So we are still bullish here. Here we have a sign, like I said, bearish sign. But again, I don't expect price to break below these areas. So let's take a look at the yesterday's price action. Yesterday we had a one-sided move, and that's why I was saying that I wasn't going to trade. I traded paper trading. I paper traded this, and there was nothing until late after 13:30, which was right around here. And I'll show you which one I took here as soon as I zoom in. Same thing here. We did get consolidation for most of the day. I'll show you why this is loaded up here in a second. Okay, so again, yesterday no trade. I did. Oh wait, where was it? I did take a trade here because we did trade into external liquidity down into an imbalance on the 4-hour. And so I did expect this gap here to hold. Took one here, and obviously didn't work out. But got stopped out right here, right below this tiny little break over here. Again, which was fine. And again, paper trading, and the setup was there. It just didn't work out in that aspect. And so I just let price go. I let it build, and then after 13:30, we had this right here. So what did I do? I basically just waited for price to show me something. Let's see, 13:30 right here. Okay. Yep, this is 13:30. So I jotted down all the highs and lows, and obviously since you're bearish, since price market action is very bearish, one-sided really, you wait for price to show you new highs. So you jot these down. And since this one was after 13:30, you jot this one down. So this is where you expect the liquidity pool to appear. Same thing here. These highs. Price obviously swept this high. So what do? Now you have some new high followed by a lower high on the left, and then you expect a lower high on the right. Same thing here. price did not take out these highs, right? So that in its own is SMT. And so you wait for price to show you something. And as you can see, every macro, there was no setup really. Um, there was no setup at all during these areas. Obviously, you did get sweeps of these lows, but you don't want to trade against a trend. I mean, if you do take a trade, then fine by me. I mean, it's fine by you. That's your decision. And you could have taken a long, but again, you want to take a trade against a trend. You don't want to trade against a dominant trend. And so we come into the afternoon session. This is the 1400 session. There is an entry here, and you could have taken it right here, and you could have taken it, but you would have to cover here, because here, as you can see, when price took out this high, but here on NQ it didn't. So what does that mean? That means that this one is the weaker of the two, and so you start planning. You jot this high down, which would be an intermediate term high. You wait for this one to sweep, and what happens here? This one becomes the intermediate term high on the right. And just as written, you see an entry here, because now you have SMT with this high and the other high with this high. Yep, this high right here. As you can see, swept this high, but in this one, it didn't sweep that high. And so logically, this becomes an entry. However, as you can see, the time does not align. So 1437, obviously, I turn off data when I'm not looking for an entry outside of the macro, because I'm not looking for an entry outside of the macro. So what do? You wait. And by this time, you expect that price will eventually sweep these lows. Again, footprints and price action give you an idea of what to do later. So I come in during the macro right here, and I notice that price is already drawn below this area, right? It's held this area, so this becomes an order block. And if this order block is to hold price, then it should. So what do? I get in right here with a stop above this high, and I notice that price rejects extreme discount of the 4-hour dealing range. And so right after that, what does price do? Draws lower, sweeping these lows, and I take my profit here. And that was it. That was it for the day. So then I close the day off, and then I come in, because I have a feeling that what happened yesterday with the short that I took all the way up here into, which low was it? Geez, which low was it? Oh, these lows right here. So I take a short up here, actually right here, cover down here, and when price has a one-sided move, there's least likely to be a retracement going into the day. So I look for an entry to hold overnight, because I do know that price is going to rebalance into an inefficiency. Yeah, I look for price to rebalance into an inefficiency, and I'm trying to get my train of thought right now. Rebalance into an efficiency. Geez, I'm drawing a blank right now. Right. Rebalance back into an inefficiency, because it already took out plenty of liquidity at the lows. It took out that weekly balance, and so again, we're most likely going to see a rebalance into an efficiency. So I start looking for an entry as soon as price opens. As soon as price opens on this day at 1800, and so I'm watching price do the thing that it wants to do for the first 5 minutes, and I notice that price closes right above this, right above here. So what do? I wait for price to give me a pullback. I think I got in right here, right? And I only got in with micros this time because I'm not willing to spend much more than I have to on minis. Um, and so I leave it with a stop below this low. And as you can see, there's a gap here. So eventually, I believe next week it'll close, and then price will draw higher after that. But yeah, so I get in here. You have this breaker. You have all this consolidation. You have this breaker, huge breaker, on the 15 as well. And then price does this. And what did I do? I actually left a sell order above 100 points. So I was able to catch 100 points of that move overnight when I came back online. Obviously, that's why this data is loaded. And I took, I think, okay, so it was about 100 points. So I think it was like about here. So price took out this liquidity pool over here, and then drew lower, rebalanced into inefficiency again, for price to draw higher after that. So once we connect the data, what am I expecting? I'm looking for price to retrace into these areas. And my idea is to continue to long as long as price has not taken out these highs. If price took out these highs, then I'm staying completely off until it gets to these imbalances. Now, I don't want to short here. And yeah, I don't want to short here. I would like to short up here. So again, I'm going to be looking for longs. But if price came down here, swept these lows, then I'll look to long in these areas, because again, on the daily or 4-hour time frames, we are at a extreme discount, and I would like to get long so I can take price from discount into equilibrium, and that'll be my my train of thought today. I'm not looking for any massive move, but I won't be surprised if we do. So again, my bias today is longs after liquidity has been taken and after the dealing ranges have been violated. If the dealing ranges have not been violated, then I'm not looking to get long. But yeah, that's the plan. So let's go ahead and connect to data and see where we're at today. Obviously, we didn't get the same type of move that we did when I shorted, but at least 100 points is a lot, even with micros. So so I'll be looking. I'm not going to be looking to stay much today because again, yesterday we had a full day's worth of expansion distribution. We did consolidate, so I wouldn't be surprised if we have expansion here going forward. Okay. All right, so we do have equal highs here. We swept this high here. And I am glad I took profit because we did rebalance into this area. Ooh, this would have been nice. Okay, so this idea that I was talking about did sweep this low and now is drawing higher. So this idea is out the window because it rebalanced this liquidity void here. So does it have the chance to come back down? Probably, if this breaker doesn't hold price. Same thing here. We just swept this high, so now this becomes a dealing range. Again, I'm not looking. The only time I look to get long is when price gets violated on the dealing range, and as you can see here, this used to be the dealing range violated. So if I were to get long, it'd be here somewhere. Okay, so I'm going to leave this dealing range down actually, because this is the dealing range that was violated. Yeah, right here. So I do expect to get into a long here somewhere to target these highs up here. So we'll see how price does here. So let's put this one up here. And we do have SMT at the lows. Actually, no, we don't. I thought we did. Okay, that's fine. Okay. So yeah, I'd like to target these highs, but obviously I'll target these highs first if I get an entry here somewhere. Let's take a look at these. Let's go to the 15-minute actually. Here we go. 62.50. 62.50. Okay, so these are relatively low highs. I would love it if price came back down to rebalance into this area, um, because that would mean that this would be the draw on liquidity after you get a rebalance. And so right now, this stands as the dealing range. Well, technically, it's either way because the highs are the same. So either way, the dealing range remains the same. But I'm just going to do it this way. Obviously, the objective hasn't been met yet since that hasn't been swept. And so if it doesn't sweep and comes back, I'd like to target these highs into this imbalance here, and I can get rid of this one. Again, we still have a tiny void here, so we might. I'll be surprised if it comes back down to here because again, we are rebalancing from external liquidity, so we're balanced. And what I mean about external liquidity is we did sweep the previous week lows and previous daily lows. So when that happens, it's likely going to rebalance into the smaller time frames. And the smaller time frames are the 4-hour, 1-hour. The reason I left the 4-hour here is because the 4-hour is higher than the 1-hour. So logically, you would expect price to go from a higher time frame into a lower time frame and then reverse from there. And that's how it works. So let's keep watching here. So here we are at extreme discount here on the 1-hour dealing range here. So I'm just going to keep playing this here. Let's see here. So again, first objective, second objective. Actually, second objective, third objective. First objective, second objective. Let's take a look at the 4-hour because we did not go from high to low. Okay. All right. So we are here within this gap here, but again, I don't expect this gap to fold, so it's not a factor to me. These are my targets, and this is the most likely one. Before I look for price to retrace into some sort of imbalance, and then for price to draw higher from there. If this is the low, then price might not come back down to here. But today is Thursday, a day after a long day of distribution. Now we might. There are two outcomes, three outcomes actually. We might get a V recovery. V meaning it looks like a V where price is one-sided with huge imbalances, and then price draws higher, balancing this imbalance, and that just gives permission to continue drawing higher afterwards, because that means this whole area is rebalanced. So I would expect to catch some longs here if this long. The other outcome is that price sweeps this one more time and then draws higher after that. Was that? And I guess the third one would be that I'm wrong. Price reverses here and then just continues to draw us lower because we have a change in the state of delivery on the daily. But since on the weekly we're still bullish, I'll still remain bullish. Same thing here. We're bullish still on the daily because price hasn't closed below these areas, and I don't think they will. I think this is just building liquidity or generating liquidity, meaning we're consolidating until price is ready or the time is ready for price to reverse and draw lower. And I don't think that'll happen until after the elections are over. Okay, so yeah, that's my plan today. I'm looking for continuation. But we'll see where price decides to hold. Okay, so we do have an order block here, but it won't happen. But if I'm right, then I would like for price to draw me a balance, a rebalance, and then for price to draw into that imbalance, and then for price to draw higher after that. Again, this right here is a bullseye. As long as price doesn't break these highs, then we're going to get a beautiful entry here somewhere. But since there's no imbalance yet, I have to go to the lower time frame to see where price might likely want to draw into. So we do have this. We do have this. Oh, geez, what's the word? We do have this breaker. So let's look and see where price is likely to hold. Okay, so this is the order block which held this order block. So what I'm thinking is price comes all the way down here into discount. Same thing here. We have propulsion block right below discount. Right there. And again, there's no, I don't see any. Okay, so I see a tiny gap here. So we'll see. And we have this liquidity void here. Right? So we have this liquidity void here, this area here, and we have this inverse gap here. Okay, so now that we are at this discount, I would expect for price to draw higher after that. If we break these lows, then that's when I'll get in with a full position. Here, I'll take a partial, couple of contracts to see if I'm right. If I'm wrong, then obviously the loss won't be as severe, because price is trading in a very large range, 58, 38, so about 20 points. So it's not that much, but here, 160, so about 150 point range here. So we'll see. So plan is for price to hold here and then draw higher after that. If it doesn't do that, then I guess this would be the entry here. So actually, you know what? Let's take a look. We got this one here and then this one here. Okay, let's take a look at the 1 minute now. All right. Nope, I don't see anything. And I don't see anything here either. Yep, I don't see anything. There's no lower time frame dealing range either. Maybe this one right here. Okay. So ideally, I would like for price to there we go. Ideally, I would like for price to come all the way down here so I can get long. What about here? Here, this is the dealing range. So ideally, I would want one of the dealing ranges to actually remain, to not get violated, which I'm assuming will likely become this one because this one is stronger than this one. So yeah, that's what I'm expecting for the day. So we'll see what happens. If I take a trade during the open, I do expect for price delivery to be quick. If not, then I do have to get out. Let's take a look at where the opens are at. I always forget those. we go. So this is the open. Okay, I think I changed the color yesterday. Yeah, that's why. White sometimes causes me to completely disregard it, so that's why I changed it to green. Okay, and as you can see with NQ, we're already way above that area. Yeah, we're already way above it. Where's 830? And this is the open. Okay, so I would like to get long here somewhere, and this is lining up with these price ranges. Like I said, I want this low to get violated, and then for price to draw higher after that. So we'll see. The order block which did hold into this. This is the propulsion block that drew higher afterwards. So if we come back down here, that would be my best entry. But if we don't, then I'm okay with that. If I don't get to trade today, actually let's change that. The worst thing to see, well, not the worst thing, but if price just draws higher from here, then I won't be surprised either, because technically this is terminus of this market maker buy model, and a lot of times what you'll get is you'll get a swift move higher, and to complete the um, to complete the model. And then obviously when something like that happens, you don't trade until after the 1100 or whenever you get the best chance. Where's 830? 830 is right here. Okay, so either one of these is fine for me. When you're bullish, you want to get long below those price ranges, and when you're bearish, you want to get short above those price ranges. So let's go ahead and lock these up. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see what the market brings us today. I have no idea what it's going to do, but at least I have my areas drawn. And so for now, you just wait. And I think if price draws lower first, I think what we will see is um, we'll see a setup. All right, there we go. Again, I am looking for a quick delivery, so if I decide to get in, it'll be somewhere around here. And we have relative equal highs here. We have relative equal highs here. Come on, come lower. So it might be that this, okay. So what am I looking for on the lower time frame? Same thing. I'm looking for change in the state of delivery, gap to form an inverse and a regular gap, um, and for me to get an entry into that area. So let's just keep watching. And the lower price comes, the more comfortable I do feel getting long. All right, so we did trade. We closed up here on the 15-minute, and on the 15-minute we are seeing a trade into that gap as well, which is right here. So let's see what it decides to do. And price is drawing lower. And I think we might get a zero at 10 o'clock macro entry, unless price just immediately draws lower, and it is. But I want again, I'm looking for one of these dealing ranges to get violated. So either this one or this one, and it might. It looks like we might get this one. And we are drawing lower here too. So it might be this one here. Where is this? Here. So it might be here in the 280 price range. This is already 30. I'm not going to get in now. Actually, yeah, I'm not going to get in. All right, and I can get rid of this one. Actually, let's just see what price does or how it closes. So this is the 50-minute liquidity void that I wrote down. Price should draw lower. Okay. Okay, we're about to violate this dealing range here. One of them is at discount now. So let's just keep watching. Okay, I don't see anything as of yet. Let's take a look at the 5-minute because we just closed. All right, nothing yet here. Nothing yet here. When you want to get in at the reversal, it's best for you to trust that price will get to those areas before it shows you an actual real entry instead of jumping in front of price. Because when you jump in front of price, it's like jumping in front of a railroad, really. Yes, jumping in front of a train. I would like it best if NQ violated that DR because NQ offers the better setup given the relative equal highs at the high. This reminds me of the trade from, what was it? It was a couple of weeks ago, a couple of days ago actually, where it had not taken the high yet. and it gave a beautiful entry long. I think it was the price action from the third. All right. A lot of times what I see when price has this type of move, I see price reverse in between the 8:30 and the 12 midnight open. So I'd like for price to come down here. 7354. And as you can see on ES, we're already getting that reversal. I don't want that to happen just yet. I want to see one more flush down. But if this is the low in ES, it makes sense because then that would mean this is the SMT. And we just swept these highs. I would very much like it if price did not draw higher yet, just yet. And we are 10 minutes into before the macro starts. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm not seeing any setup that would indicate price is reversing. This is generated. So likely we're getting a trend line. So I would like for this trend line to remain so that it can sweep those highs later on here going into the 10 o'clock macro. So now you have all retail traders shorting these highs here because they believe this trend line will hold. Actually, no. Why am I doing that? If I am gonna do that, then I have to make it safer. There we go. Okay, so we have relative equal lows now. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now this dealing range is violated. So I am not expecting for this low to be broken. If it gets broken, then obviously the long into these areas is still valid. So still watching. All right. Okay. 8 minutes until the macro. So this is the order block I was talking about. Yep, this is the order block I'm talking about. So if this is not the actual order block, then I will, and price draws below here and closes below here, then that means that price is likely going to sweep these lows. Okay, so it tapped into extreme discount here. So let's see. And this is extreme discount of the 4-hour time frame. And as it stands, we do have SMT with this tiny dealing range that I had drawn earlier. But again, that's the lower time frame, so it might make sense for one more low to get violated, which would be right here. Why did I jot this one down actually? I don't know why that's there. I actually thought about it earlier, but I'm not sure. Yeah, it doesn't need to be there actually. Alright. Okay. Okay. Alright, so let's just keep watching. Okay. Nothing as of yet. So yeah, I think now it makes sense that price does need to sweep this low because we do have liquidity void resting right here. So we'll see if that happens. If it doesn't happen, then no entry, no reason to get in. So you just wait. And it looks like we are going to sweep that. But who knows? Okay, so this dealing range got violated. I can take this out now. And we swept this low here. On ES we haven't yet. Now I could have been short, right? I could have been short, but again, my bias is telling me that price is likely to draw higher because of these highs. So until I see an actual entry, there's nothing to do. And we swept these lows too. So we'll see. So let's see. I'm seeing something here. I'm seeing a slight reaction. Okay. I'll just wait until the 1 minute closes, the 5 minute closes. Once I see that, I'll start looking for an entry on the lower time frame. Let's see what price does there. Nothing yet. I forget who it was that I read it from, but they're expecting um, wild. What's the word? They're expecting wild price moves for the next few months, which is fine. I don't mind it at all, actually. I can take this out. So now we're holding below this order block here on the 15-minute. We'll see. And as you can see here on the 15-minute, we close way below consequent encroachment. So that's not a telling sign to me just yet, but we'll see. Two minutes to the macro. We might get one final push into this area for then price to draw higher afterwards. All right, let's draw into the lower time frames to see what we got and what is price doing. We got something here, but again, I don't want to get in until after price gets up to here, because then this becomes the order block. So ideally, I would like for one more sweep, and then for price to draw higher, so that the order block I'm paying attention to is not as wide as range as this one. I can take these out as well. I can take this one out, just cleaning out the voids here. So if this one doesn't break that low, then that would be SMT, and that gives the go ahead for anybody to looking to get long to get long. If these are the lows, then I'd expect aggressive price action going into the day. Well, not aggressive price action if it doesn't break the lows, I mean. All right, we might see something, but it just might be a fake out. These lows right here, you see this trend line. So if price doesn't get above here, then it's doing the same thing it did up here. All right, so now we have relative equal highs. Again, it's leaving footprints for me to target later on into the day. All right. Okay, so we are getting a reaction here. I just don't want these to be the lows. Yeah, I just don't want this to be the lows, because that doesn't give me any indication as to SMT. Now, SMT doesn't need to be drawn, but I feel a lot safer if there is. So we'll see. Technically, this is discount, extreme discount, so I'm just still watching here. We left a tiny gap here, which will be targeted later on, unless it fills automatically immediately now. And now we are at the 10 o'clock macro. And I completely forgot to say that. I'd like one more low. Okay. Where was that that entry that I think I'm starting to see? Oh, here it is. Okay, so you get up moves, no entry, up move, sweep of liquidity here, here, and then price draws higher. Actually, no, wait. This one right here, actually, this is the one. No entry, swing high, swing low, swing high, sweep of the swing low, price draws higher. This is the trade I actually caught the other day going into equilibrium. So let's see if that's what it actually does. Yep, still have relative equal highs here. So the draw to me is still the highs, but no entry. And we might be generating liquidity here, so we might just consolidate. But I would still like a sweep here. An aggressive one. All right, that looks aggressive, but there you go. Still nothing. Okay, so now we have first low, second low, maybe a third low here, and that's a 3-bar pattern. We have lower time from SMT here, so that might just be it. So now we have relative equal highs and relative equal lows. This is technically an entry right here because we do have um, displacement, but that's on the 1 minute. I'm not looking for that just yet. I do expect this gap here to get broken, but if it doesn't, and I do end up missing it, we will have some sort of second stage consolidation before price draws to these highs. So if I miss it down here, then that's fine. I'll still be able to catch it here, and it'll most likely happen during the 10 o'clock macro. So I can get rid of this because this is no longer the order block. It's actually down here. So let's see what price does. For those who are long here, right at, what is it, 49, they should cover here at this high with a stop below this area or right here. That's a 1-1 risk reward, and I wouldn't take it. And I can get rid of this one as well. I can also get rid of this one. So now we have a clearer, what was this one? I forget what this one was. I can get rid of this as well. So now we just have these areas here. And we have 1 minute till 10 o'clock is over. Okay. And we have relative equal highs on on ES. In about 5 seconds, we're going to close that. So a lot of people are thinking, all right, I'm about to get my first target, and so they get greedy, and instead of taking some off, they leave it because they believe price is going to continue higher, and it might very well do so, um, but it can't hurt to take some up here. So take some. Actually, I just realized that this is the dealing range. So yeah, this is the dealing range here. So I don't like getting long on an inclining dealing range. I like getting long on a declining dealing range. I forget who said that. I think it was Ali Khan said that. Um, he mentions that you wait until the dealing range is violated. Oh, geez, I got a headache. And so no entry yet. And so price is rebalancing here. So I would only expect for price to continue drawing higher if price closes above this area. And I don't mean just closes like just by a little bit. I mean like maybe closes up here or something. Then I'd be sold. Till then, still waiting. We got relative go highs here. So I do hope that these don't get violated because then that would offer an entry somewhere around here. around 10:02. So about 8 minutes till the macro. All right, let's take a look at what price looks like now. All right, so let's say this is the low. So what would I like? I would like for this to become a swing low. Price draw higher one more time, come back down, sweep these lows, and then draw higher. Sort of like, let's see here. Yep, sort of like this. Turtle soup entry down here, and then we go higher there. But ideally, I would like for this something like that. Okay, so I just took, okay, good. So I just took one contract here, because what I'm looking for is I'm looking for this area, and that gives me about what, 100 points? Yeah, about 100 points. And they're micros, so that's not really, it's not really a big deal. Well, actually, it is a big deal on 100 points. That's why I took it, because I'm willing to risk jumping in here. And where was my entry? Let's see. My entry was at 56.25. So, yep, right above, right here. So let's see, maybe one more sweep or price draws higher from here. It held above this order block, so now we are trading within the 1 minute time frame. But on the 5 minute, I don't see anything yet. Nope. And ES is still drawing lower, higher, and broke this high. So the next high logically are these highs, and then this high. So it looks like ES is the stronger of the two. One minute time frame. So if you were long, then this would be your first objective, second objective, third, and each time you capture the objective, you move your stop loss into either break even or something else. So yeah, right now I'm just still waiting. It might just turn out that this becomes the swing high on the 5 minute, and then we get one more sweep and then draw higher. But I see a setup on the 1 minute, so who knows? That might have been the entry. I took it, and that's fine. I'm willing to wait, because price is going from internal liquidity to external. Ooh, I just noticed something that I completely forgot to. This right here is a 1 hour gap, so it makes sense that price did not sweep that low. Okay. Yep, completely makes sense. All right, so now I'm there. So now what am I looking for? I'm looking for continuation. I don't see anything on the 5 minute. Let's take a look at the 4 minute. This is the order block. So I'll look for price to close above this. I changed my snap to setting here. But we might very well, just come back down again. So I'm in one here, and if it sweeps these lows, that's fine too. I'm not looking to hold. I'm still gonna hold it, because I do believe ultimately today we do sweep these highs up here, as long as we hold above this gap here. And we still have a tiny bit of this void to to go. If we sweep these lows, then actually I'm not looking to hold below here. If it gets below 200, then I'll take it. I'll take it off the board. Let's take a look here. All right, so I did mention that we are right below this imbalance. So now I'm looking for price to hold or close above that imbalance. Actually, the 5-minute already closed, so it's got to be up here somewhere. There we go. Okay, so yeah, that's the 5-minute imbalance. So if price closes above that, then that means we are likely going to draw higher. But I won't get in until after it closes. Actually, we have 2 minutes till it closes, so let's take a look at the 1 minute. It might be offering something. No entry. We got an entry here. Ooh, this might have been the entry here. Okay. So if this is the entry, then I want price to break above this, because if it does, then that means it'll set up the 10 for the 11 o'clock macro. But if price draws lower, sweeping all of these lows, then we're likely drawing lower for a sweep and then a reversal. Ideally, I would like it if price actually drew higher from here, but who knows? That way, I won't be on drawdown with my only contract here. But if I'm right, 100 points, I'll take it. Oh, just in case, right there. All right, so we just closed above this right here. So now we have an inverse here, entry here. We'll see. So the reason why I want to continue holding is because if we get the sweep down here and we actually get a real entry here, unless it's this one right here, then I will get in with multiple contracts because that will turn into a series trade. But again, I have to see an actual entry. And it looks like we're going to draw higher. Let's see here. Yep, discount. Perfect. Yep, this is a textbook entry. So I'm glad I took it there. Do I wish I would have entered with more contracts? Yeah, most likely, but that's fine. I'm okay with just the one because it gives me a lot of room to evaluate and see where price is likely going. Is there there's a 1 hour deficiency up here, right above the highs, right here. That's where the deficiency is, but that's on the 1 hour. Since price is moving from a daily, or actually a weekly, this is a 1 hour actually, but this whole area is a weekly imbalance, so price is likely to go to a 4 hour. But I'm not looking to target all of these highs. I'm only looking to target the 4 hour imbalances. Oh, actually, these highs. Whatever happens above here, I don't care. So right now we're generating liquidity, and if price generates liquidity in these areas, the next move I'm looking for is something like this. Into discount or something of this range, and the completion of it. Again, that's if it generates liquidity here. But if it displaces lower, then it's likely going to sweep these lows. All right, so that's it for the 10 o'clock macro. I'm not gonna stay online for long. I'm just gonna keep the charts on, see what price does, and then I'll come back for the 11 macro. All right, so I'll see you tomorrow.